everyone. So, as you all saw in my last video, it was about my announcement of going to Everest. And this video is actually going to be about the training that I've been doing from the past 5 years, and what my training has been, with the regards to mental training, physical, emotionally, altitude training, and in order to train that hard, what all sacrifices or what all things I had to leave behind to, reach this goal. So, this video is going to be about that. If anyone is new here and they would like to know what my journey has been in mountaineering and what it looked like in the past 5 to 6 years, I'll be actually putting down the description. There will be two links of my two podcasts. So there I'm actually telling my story about my getting into dance, acting, and mountaineering simultaneously. So you guys can go and watch that. But this video is specifically going to be about the training, how it looked like in the past 5 years for me in order to reach Everest now. See, first of all, when I had this idea in my mind that I want to, start trekking and go to this peak called Everest, that time, Dimag mein specifically, there was not really a plan of what to do, where to start. So, eventually you get connected with people who are already into climbing, or you follow their journey to see what they have been doing or how they have been doing it. So that's when I came across these Sahyadri treks, which are just away from Mumbai, like 2 to 3 hours, and you can access these green mountains, the Western Ghats. And there used to be these 1 day hikes of 3 4 hours, 5 hours, and that's how I finally first started going to these mountains to know what is my strength and stamina at the moment, because I was a very lazy person back then, and I'm still lazy though. But I know I have a goal, so I need to do some things in order to achieve that. But as I told, that back then I was really lazy, so I hadn't been really going to the gym or going for any walks, runs, like these kind of stuff would really bore me. But at the same time, I was really good in sports and athletics and all that stuff, like running, these races and season cricket, and what all I used to do in my school time. So from that time, I loved the idea of moving the body physically, but not as such going into a fitness routine and all. So obviously I had to start from the scratch. I started going to the gym, started going for some runs, for some walks, and simultaneously going for these Sahyadri hikes. So that's where I built a little foundation for my strength and stamina in the body, knowing the balance of my body, how to walk on the mountains. That's where I came to know a lot of stuff about the mountains from people around me. Some of the mountaineers, I used to text them and ask, ki kya hai ye kya hai, and very graciously they would reply. So मुझे काफ़ी उधर से information मिला. Then I used to watch videos on YouTube that how to get into mountaineering, this and that. So that's when I came across the word Himalayan treks, and these mountains were at an altitude, like where there is less oxygen, where you're carrying your own rucksack and learning the words like harness, carabiner, and ropes, and just so much more, mountaineering boots. So that's where I came to know that okay, ऐसी भी एक दुनिया है जिसमें I need to enter. And I wanted to enter fast because it had been 6 7 months of me training, not a structured program at all. Like मैं अपने मर्जी से आज जिम गई, कल रनिंग के लिए जाऊंगी, परसों स्टेयर क्लाइंबिंग के लिए. So it was never structured. I just used to go on my own and do the stuff, and that was working for me till a time. So मेरे घर से बहुत strict no था that no, for a year you will be climbing in the Sahyadri mountains, and उसके बाद we'll see for the Himalayan treks. And yes, I got my opportunity to go for my first ever trek, Patalsu Peak, which is in Manali, Solang Valley. It is at the height of 13,900 feet. And so that was surprisingly very amazing trek for me, because going up till that summit, it was really long, but I did it and I was really happy with myself that finally I got to test my training somewhere. That's how my journey in the first Himalayan trek began. Slowly, 2 3 years forward, there were some peaks that I had summited, some of them I did not. And last year, actually, I joined with a group that was specifically training for mountains to get into mountaineering. It's a company called Phoenix Mountain Training. It also has a subsidiary of Phoenix Experiences, where they organize treks like, Everest Base Camp and Kangyatse 2, expeditions and everything. And the Phoenix Mountain Training I joined, it's run by my coach right now, Parth sir. And so when I joined him, that's when I came to know that all the training that I've been doing, I don't know if I can even call that a training at this point, because it used to be random. आज ही मैं हाइकिंग के लिए गई हूँ एंड कल ही लेग्स मार रही हूँ वापस, एंड उसके बाद रनिंग के लिए जा रही हूँ. सो नॉट रियली रियलाइजिंग दैट योर बॉडी इवन नीड्स टू रिकवर from some kind of training, and you need to set a balance in it. So that's when I realized ki, okay, this is how a training should be. And yes, ever since that, my the peaks I've summited, it's been amazing. It's been like a cakewalk for me. The summit days where I used to struggle so much to reach the mountain, climbing the whole night and then reaching the summit at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning. The summits after that training was really something different for me. Like, as I told, it felt like a cakewalk. So that was my journey with in regards to getting proper training. So all of you who are maybe planning to get into proper mountaineering, get a proper training. खुद से मत करो. There are high chances of you getting injured. You think that you are training, but you will end up not summiting the peak, wasting money. And trust me, I've gone through that pain, so I know that. Also, in a way, when you do all these training, it's also important to test it out on the mountains, right? Like, majorly, I learned a lot of my skills on the mountains itself. Like, there used to be these training days and walking on the mountains during these summit pushes at night. That's where I learned so many of my skills, and I went in progression, climbing these peaks. The first year climbing from 12,000 feet to 14,000 feet, the next year trying for a 15,000 feet mountain, then slowly and gradually going for 18,000, 19,000, and then finally reaching the mark of 6,000 meter. Last year I did a 7,000 meters. So I went slowly and progressed in this, because if you will rush, there are high chances of getting altitude sickness, because your body is not really used to it, right? So that's where I think all of my skills developed majorly, and my mental conditioning, my physical conditioning, and even with regards to the altitude, because as I told, body को धीरे धीरे वो altitude से expose करना is important. So that's exactly what I did. And in the past 5 years of my training, obviously I had my college life, my friends, and so many more events to attend, and all of that stuff. But I can't even remember. Like, I think out of, if to give a number, if there were 100 parties, I think I attended one or two. That's how my ratio was. And वो भी एक दो parties इसके लिए attend की, because okay, these are my close friends. I really need to go to maintain those relations. But somewhere down the point, everything that was not connected to my mountaineering or anything that was affecting my training, I was just not ready to do it. I was in a film school, okay, and with that, there we had a lot of rehearsals, shoots, and this and that things to complete. Completing that, my college was literally 2 hours away from where I lived, traveling that every single day, and still managing with my training. And every vacation that used to come, I had to go on an expedition, like, to keep that thing in my mind that Sanika, you can't waste any of your time. All the free time you need to put it in training, because apparently there is no free time left for you. Half of your time goes in traveling, 9 to 5 you are in the college, or even more because it was a film school. Rehearsals would keep going on at night, and at the same time I had to handle my training. So there were times where a lot of times my peaks were not submitted because I couldn't get that enough training जो मुझे करनी चाहिए थी, but because of my schedule, hectic schedule, एक्चुअली में ट्रेनिंग नहीं हो पाई. एंड दिस इज नॉट मी गिविंग एक्सक्यूजेस कि क्यों मेरे समिट्स नहीं हुए, बट as I told, I literally told my schedule how it was. But yes, now from past 1 year, my training has been going in full swing, going summit after summit. Just now, I came back from my Ladakh training, the last phase and the final phase for my training for Everest. And now I have left around 40 to 45 days remaining for my expedition. So, yes, I've been just resting for a day or two now, and I'll be going full swing again before I leave for my expedition. So, this is how my training looked like. So, at last, I would just like to say that the things you really want to achieve and work hard for it, you need to leave some things, sacrifice some things for you to get those things. Because personally, Everest for me didn't come easy. Friends and all used to tell me that, oh, you are so lucky, you can go to these mountains and, have fun. It's not fun. Trust me when I say that I love mountaineering, it's not fun because there is a lot of suffering that comes with it. But at the same time, I have started to love it because I want to reach somewhere in that point कि जहाँ मुझे कोई peak summit करना है, and I will put all of my love, my hard work, discipline, whatever I have for it. In the last, I would say that if you think कि मेरे पास time नहीं है ये करने का, trust me, there is always time, and you personally will always find time for something you are really passionate about, or तुमको कुछ सीरियसली कुछ चाहिए अपने लाइफ में, यू विल फाइंड टाइम फॉर इट. अवॉइड सम पार्टीज फॉर अ फ्यू वीकेंड्स. गो in the morning, wake up at 4 a.m., go for some hikes or go for your training routines, and trust me, in no time you will see things अपने आप तुम्हारे लिए हो रही है. So, yes, anyone who is new here, I'm really, really active on my Instagram too. So, you can follow my Everest journey even there. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.